What is up, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy flippinstoop. Finally, I tried to launch this video for the past 10 minutes and it kept just like doing some loading BS and it didn't want to load up. But this video is going to be around the topic of why I believe eBay is so great, right? Number one is you're in complete control of your success level on eBay. That's the greatest thing, except in the beginning when they only give you so many items you can list per month, but that's actually a good thing. Look back into some of my further videos. I talk a little bit about why I believe that's important. But you're in complete control of your income level on eBay. You're in complete control of your results on eBay, and you're in complete control of everything on eBay. You're almost in control of everything on eBay. And the greatest point about that, and the reason I say that is because a lot of people don't make it on eBay, and it's for one simple reason. The one simple reason is they're wanting shit too fast. Not patient. No patience. And it's hard because us as human beings, we are impatient creatures. Hence the fact why the majority of our population works a 9 to 5. You go to a job, you work 1 week, you get paid the next. That's called instant gratification. Now, some of you might think instant gratification being different. You do something now, you get paid now. That basically is instant gratification in the world we live in today. You worked last week, so you're going to get paid for that this week, or however that works for you. Maybe you get paid in 2 weeks, maybe you get paid monthly. I don't know. But that's instant gratification. Your payouts and your success is not going to happen in a week on eBay. And that's what people get irritated. Well, what's the point in starting it? Because if you didn't, the results you're getting now, 5 years down the road, you're going to be getting this right around the same results. Maybe a little bit more shit. Maybe you lost a job and you actually got demoted and you go backwards in pay, right? So it can go either end of the totem pole. But the greatest, like I say, the greatest thing about eBay is it's you and I that's in complete control of what your income level is. It's up to you. Right? It's totally up to you. And there's going to be people that are not going to like hearing that, and that's fine and dandy. I wouldn't have liked hearing that my first year either, because I'd have been like, bullshit, I'm working my ass off, and I'm not getting the results I feel like I should be getting. But the whole point behind that was I wasn't being patient enough. I've talked about our first store completely going under. I put 11 months into a store when I first started reselling, and I was selling everything. I was selling everything, guys and girls, everything from DVDs and video games to coffee cups to VHS tapes to VHS players to TVs to game consoles to, anything I could find that I would find in a thrift store or garage sale that would turn a profit. Tools, you name it, I sold it. Okay, and then along came Christmas and COVID. And that, between those two things, my packages, I was getting sales. That didn't slow down for me at all. I was getting sales. I was taking them to the post office. They were sitting there for 3 to 4 weeks. They weren't going nowhere. Customers were complaining, so I put my store below seller's level. Now, at that time, way below seller's level. Now, at that time, I had an option. I had a choice. I had two choices to make. One, try to dig my way out of this, right, and get it back to top-rated seller. And I tried that for 2 months. That was an epic failure. I couldn't get myself. I was doing everything I should have been doing and then some. And I was actually putting in 6 times the work. When I actually started doing the math, I'm like, if I just put this work into a new store within 3 months, I'll be making more money. So that's exactly what I did. So I went with choice number 2. The hell with the first store and start all over again. Now, if you haven't had to go through that, you're way ahead of the game than I am. If you didn't start a whole store for almost a year and it go under and you start fresh from listing 1 and build it back up to 5,000 items, if you haven't done that, you're doing better than I did, right? Because I have a whole 11 months, 300 and some odd days that went right out the fucking window, and there was no cherries on top and there was no bonus for trying. None of that shit was there. It just went out the window. And I was talking to my fiance. And I said, babe, I got 2 choices. Oh, sorry about that, guys. This lighting is funny sometimes. It's got 2 switches on it, and you can have one shut itself off. And anyways, so I sat down. After I was frustrated after trying to build it back up for a couple months, I sat down with my fiance, and I said, hey, look. I says, this is either the end or I start fresh. She says, what do you want? I said, I want to win and I want to succeed. And I have full faith and I see the potential on eBay. And so she says, go with your gut then. If your gut's telling you to start over, start fresh, start over and start fresh. At that moment, it was probably February of 2021, right around that area, or maybe it was, February 2021. Right around that time, I decided I'm going to start fresh. And I had about 10 articles of clothing already. So I started with 5 items a day. And we built it into, now I built it into over 5,000 items in our inventory, over 20 at certain days, 30 items in sales a day. And how I did that was by believing in the process. Okay, did I like all the process? Absolutely not. There's many days I didn't. I was not happy with the work I did. Okay, and you're going to be there too. This is where patience and your belief of the end goal has to be at the forefront of your mind. If you really want to win on eBay, I'm going to put it this way, and this is going to hurt some people's feelings. If you lose on eBay, it's your fault. If you win on eBay, it's your fault. So the 98% or whatever the statistics are showing that don't make it as a full-time reseller that tried on eBay, the only thing that got in the way was patience. And I'm not saying in the beginning, no, man, I didn't have money for inventory. Well, you should have waited it out till something else sold. I went through that same process, and so did every other reseller that started with one item. You had to wait for one to sell so you can go buy 2. And then you got to wait for one more to sell to go buy 2 more. And then you got to sometimes wait for 2 to sell to go buy 6 more. You know, that's the process. If you're not okay with that slow process, your first 6 months or whatever it is, 3 months, whatever it is, then you're not going to make it, right? You want it too fast. Most people want it too fast, right? Because everybody that starts eBay has the potential, has the same options the millionaires on eBay have right now. They all have the same, we all have the same opportunity. Open platform. Do as you may. Whatever you want to do it and whenever you want to do it, right? And I'm not telling you what time of the day to do your shit, but you should be doing your shit daily if you want great results, right? If you just want to be a part-time reseller, then you do it whenever the hell you want to, right? You just want to sell a couple odds and ends here and there. Well, that's only up to you. My group's more, I'm trying to wrap it more around the people that really want to make it somewhere in a business on eBay. Right, on a bigger. Now, I'm not judging anybody that just wants to do a part-time. That's what you want to do it. By all means, do it. Right? But so that's what I wrote down today. Was the greatest thing about eBay is that you are in complete control about the success level that you hit. And the hardest part about entrepreneurship is when something goes wrong, it's your fault. When something goes right, it's your fault. Now, I'm not saying when you got an unruly customer that's treating you like shit and all this, that's your fault, but that's part of the game. That's going to happen. I'm not saying when you get an unruly return that it's your fault, but that's part of the game too. So you're signing up. Everything that you get involved with on eBay, you signed up for, right? They don't lay out, hey, you're going to go through this, and your first few months are going to look a little shaky, and sorry, your next 3 months, and who knows, you might look shaky for 2 years. Right? No great business has ever in 2 years hit millions of dollars of profit. That shit is unheard of. Unless they had millions of dollars to invest. Okay? You don't just start something from one item and become a millionaire in 2 years driving a Bugatti. In anything. That's just, if you think that is possible, your thought process is distorted. You're thinking too short term. You think you want it now. You got to get out of that mindset. This is not a get in and get rich overnight bullshit. Anybody tells you that on any YouTube channel, I'm not telling you what you do, but you should stop watching it. Now, you can make profit off your very first item if you choose to, right? But I don't encourage that. Why would you want to do that? Then if you sell an item for $30, you bought it for $2 and you spend a $28, you spend a 20 some odd dollars after eBay takes their fee. What good did that do? So what? You sold something. You ain't got nothing else to sell now. You get my point. But it is very truthful, and sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. Wherever you are at in your eBay journey right now is because of what you put in. That's the bottom line. And until you can swallow that pill, look, if anything goes wrong in your eBay journey, it's your fault, man. Now, look, I'm not saying. Matter of fact, there was a guy, Vic. He had an issue on eBay. That's actually almost moved him to another platform where they kept charging his account $9 and some odd cents, right? You don't think that's much money, but when they do it 35 times, that adds up to be quite a bit of money, right? And they kept doing that to him. Now, I'm not saying that's his fault, right? I'm not saying something where they're taking money from you when they shouldn't be. That I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm talking about where you are at statistically, where you are at financially, where you are at how much inventory you have in your store. Now, if you started today, well, obviously, if you got 2 items in your store, you're doing it right, okay? Don't think that you should be at 2,000 in one day. It's not possible. So, how do you get better results on eBay? Bottom line. Yeah, well, we all know how to get better results on eBay. You get more items in your inventory. But the people don't want to hear that. Well, I put 1,000 items on eBay. I should be rocking. No, that's not necessarily. I got 5,000 items in my inventory, and that's a very small store to a lot of people's size they scale to, right? My goal is 10K, and then it's going to be 15K, 20, 25, 30. I want to have 100,000 items on eBay, okay? So I'm far from my goal, but yet I'm at right now. I probably could be at 8,000 to 9,000 if there wasn't certain days that I didn't hit my quota. Right? If there wasn't certain days like Christmas that I took off, right? I would be how much further along. You don't think one day is a big deal. But here's what happens. We start forming a habit, right? We start giving ourselves a day or two here and there every other week or whatever. That adds up because the person that ain't missing none of them, you don't want to look at this too much like a competition, but it is a competition. I'm telling you right now, if you're not a competitive sport, look, I've never been a sports player. I never went out there and played football and baseball and all this other shit, right? I played t-ball and I was done after that. Okay, if you're on eBay and you're listing items, the person who has the most fish in the sea wins. That's the bottom line. I don't give a shit what you're selling. It doesn't matter unless you're selling nothing but Rolexes, and they're a hot thing right now, right? Which one hasn't? Rolex has been a hot thing. But I'm just giving you like little bits of reality about eBay. This is not a platform out to make you fail. If you think that, you're going to fail at every aspect of your life. They would never dump this amount of money into a platform if they wanted to lose, right? eBay is not a platform that is predicated for people to lose. It's for you to win. So when you win, they win. Do you get it? Do you get that? I mean, that sums it up as simple as I can. But I think the greatest opportunity of eBay is you're in full control of the results you get. Now, like I said, if you want to list 60 items a day in the beginning, I mean, you just got to have patience because eBay is not going to allow you to do that in the beginning. You're going to get your 250 items, divide that 250 by 30 items, and if you want to go gung-ho, then you list that amount of items every day. I don't know what that is, like if it's 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, whatever it is, you guys can do the math on that, right? I'm not that great at math where I can take 250 and divide it by 30 and just know the answer right off the top of my head. I'm not that great, right? But you can figure that out, right? That's what you do. And then you list that amount of items every single day, right? And that's going to start building a habit. Look, eBay's success is habits and rituals every day. Habits and rituals. Doing the same thing every day. Doing the same thing every day. And then people get bored of that and they're like, fuck this shit. And they start getting bad results and then they bash eBay. No, you ought to be looking in the mirror and bashing yourself. You can't stay consistent. I'm going to tell you this. If you can't stay consistent on eBay, you'll never get the full potential that eBay has to offer. That's the bottom line. If you can't stay consistent on a certain number daily, you'll never hit your full potential that eBay is offering you. eBay offers you this potential. They are giving it to you. Here's an open platform. Go to town. That is basically what they're telling you to do, right? And sell things you can sell, and don't be getting vetoed and all that other shit, and make sure your shit's getting to your customers, right? And have good customer service. They don't ask you to do a lot on eBay. Look, Before you know it, another 5 years, you'll be able to have your customers will be able to video you and say, "Hey, look, this sweater showed up with a hole in it." Right? I'm sure that's coming in the making. You can already do video like to prove that a TV works or whatever like that, right? You couldn't do that when I first started reselling. So the bottom line is, wherever you are at, look, stop rushing. That's what we all do. I've done it too. I'm guilty as fuck of this, right? We try to rush the process. You can't rush the process. Yeah, you might be able to gain some traction before the next person can gain some traction because maybe you got a better link to some inventory so you can list more items a day, but you still got to go through the process. You got to get eBay's trust to start letting you list more than 250 items a month, right? And then you're going to go through, you got to go through the processes. The processes, it's the hardest part about reselling and being consistent on a daily basis. This is what a lot of people want to jump into it because they see somebody that had nothing and they worked a 9 to 5 and they started something and then all of a sudden they're making figures a year and they think, man, if that guy could do it or girl could do it, so could I. But they want it to happen immediately. And your process is going to be different than the next person, than my process and everybody else's process, right? Of course, have somebody you look up to because if you see somebody like Daily Refinement, I looked up to Chris forever and still do, right? Look what he started with and look what he built it into. That fucking dude was a beast, right? He's a beast. He did great. He does great. Okay? I look up to him, but I don't judge myself to him. He's fucking 6 years ahead of me. I still got a whole bunch of processes to go through to get on that level. Okay? When I say don't compare yourself to where somebody else is, I'm not saying don't look up to, I look up to them, the top dogs in the reseller game, right? I look up to them because it gives me something to reach for, right? But I don't beat myself up because they're doing millions of dollars in sales and we're at a different financial bracket than they are. I don't beat myself up over that because I understand it. I don't have as much years in equity into it as they do. So if you're at $15,000 a year and you started last year, you should be very grateful for that. That is a good accomplishment, an extra 15 grand. Are you kidding me? Most jobs you ever work at isn't going to give you a promotion where you get another 15 grand a year, 20 grand a year. Where? Unless you become you went from a nurse to a heart surgeon or something, then yeah, you're going to see a significant pay increase. But people are giving pay increases at these. Let's face it. Let's call it what it is. You get in at an entry level, and the top pays 20. Right? That's a dead end job. Why is it a dead end job? Because it's never going to pay you more than what their top end is. Right? That is dead end. There is no dead end on eBay. They'll keep increasing their sales based upon the amount of items you're listing. Right? They'll keep increasing it. There is no. Now, I'm not saying there's a point where one person isn't going to be able to list 1,000 items a day consistent for the next 10 years. Fuck, they'll be dead, right? You'll be working 16, 18-hour days every day for the next 10 years. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's not likely. Unless those 1,000 items a day, it's just scan, upload. Fuck, I could do 1,000 a day like that. But if you actually got to make up the title and you actually got to take the photos and you know what I mean, and you actually got to do the description and the item specifics yourself, then you're doing 1,000 a day. I mean, you're gonna have. I don't know if any one person could list 1,000 articles of clothing a day that are used that they got to make up the title and all this other shit. I don't know if that's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but there ain't no way I could do that, right? I think I would have a rough time right now doing 85 to 100 a day myself. Do I think it's possible? Sure. But another 900 on top of that, I do not believe I could do that, right? So I'm not saying there isn't any limitations per one person, but you have the ability, as well as anybody else that's ever hired somebody, to learn how to hire somebody and learn how to train somebody, right? We all have that capability. So when I say it's endless, I'm not saying the possibilities are endless for any one solo reseller. You're probably going to cap Tech did it with himself. He did $1 million in sales in a year. I don't think you're going to get much more than that by yourself because that man is a he works hard and he don't miss days. He's rock solid. He's not unbendable, right? He's unbendable. You can't, nothing can get in the way where he's not going to make sure his items are listed. And that's priority. He's very prioritized. That's why he became who he is and why he does so great on eBay. But so yeah, your level of success on eBay is predicated on you and I and me and you alone. Nobody else. Nobody else. eBay's not going to put limitations on you. They do in the beginning, but eventually, I think right now I don't even got my desktop fired up yet. But I think right now they give me an option to be able to sell something like fucking $45,000 in a month or $55,000 in a month or some crazy, or 245,000, $250,000 in sales in a month. They're allowing me to do. I'm not hitting that number. I'm not hitting even close to that number. But one day, I believe that would be possible with a process of hiring and expanding our inventory line and all that, right? I believe there's always a way as long as you keep stretching yourself. It's your boy Flippin' Stoop. If this video helped you at all, drop a comment below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. If you're in this group and you're not on the YouTube channel, subscribe, because I've been uploading these videos on the YouTube too. I don't know, maybe somebody will get offended on here on Facebook again and report me because I said fuck. And I don't get it. I don't understand why they can. I don't have it made for kids. I don't understand why that happened. Whatever I said throughout one of the videos, I was on the razor out playing around. I don't know if it was dangerous activity because I was going 80 miles an hour down the road with a video camera. I don't know what it was about. But they freaking made that channel that I created. We all created because there was like 5,000 people in that group. They abolished it overnight. Like all of a sudden it just wasn't there. I'm like, I think that's some bullshit. So just in case something like that happens to this, you got the YouTube channel that I'll continue to upload videos on. It's your boy Flippin' Stoop. You guys have a great day.